Tonight, when the sun goes down, you will probably reach for a light switch without thinking about it. The room will be dark for less than a second, but somewhere inside you, something ancient will still flinch. Your heart rate will tick up. Your eyes will strain toward the corners of the room. You will feel it before you notice it. Why does a flick of darkness still do that to you? The answer is not what most people assume. You are not afraid of the dark because darkness itself is dangerous. Darkness is just an absence of light. What you are actually afraid of is what darkness hides. And your brain learned that lesson long before you were born, long before your parents were born, long before humans built houses with doors that lock. Go back 2 million years. Your ancestors were not the top of the food chain. They were mid-sized primates on the African savanna, and they were on the menu. Leopards hunted them from trees. Hyenas hunted them in packs. Large cats stalked them at the exact hours when human eyesight is weakest, which happens to be dusk and just after dark. Researchers Donna Hart and Robert Sussman spent years studying fossil evidence of ancient predation, and their findings were startling. Bite marks on early hominin skulls matched the jaw spacing of leopards almost exactly. Your ancestors were not just occasionally hunted, they were regularly hunted. And they were hunted most often in low light. Think about what that means for a moment. For nearly the entire span of human evolution, night was not peaceful. Night was the most dangerous part of the day. The humans who survived long enough to have children were the ones who treated darkness with suspicion. The calm ones, the ones who wandered out without checking the shadows, they did not get the chance to pass on their genes. Fear was not a flaw. Fear was the filter. This is where it gets interesting. Your eyes are part of the story too. Human vision is built for daylight. You have millions of cone cells that detect color and fine detail, but they need bright light to work well. In low light, you rely mostly on rod cells, which see only in shades of gray and cannot resolve sharp detail. This is called scotopic vision, and it is remarkably poor compared to a cat's or an owl's. So at exactly the moment when danger was historically highest, your ancestors' best sense was at its weakest. Can you imagine a worse combination? Your brain compensated the only way it could. It stopped waiting for proof. In daylight, your mind waits to see a shape before it reacts. In darkness, it reacts to the possibility of a shape. A rustling bush becomes a predator before your brain even finishes processing what rustled. This is not irrational. This is efficient. A false alarm costs you a startled breath. A missed predator costs you your life. Evolution does not reward accuracy. It rewards survival. Psychologist Martin Seligman gave this pattern a name: prepared learning. His research showed that humans and animals are not blank slates when it comes to fear. Some fears are learned in an instant and never fully forgotten, while others take repetition and barely stick at all. Seligman found that people develop fear of snakes and spiders far faster than fear of, say, electrical outlets, even though outlets injure far more people today. Why would that be? Because evolution preloaded certain fears into the human brain. Darkness works the same way. You do not need a bad experience in the dark to be wary of it. The wariness was already installed before you were born. Here is the twist most people never think about. Your fear of the dark is not really about the dark at all. It is about uncertainty. Darkness is frightening because it removes information. Psychologists studying anxiety have found again and again that the human brain tolerates known danger far better than unknown danger. A visible threat can be assessed, avoided, fought, or fled. An invisible one cannot. Darkness does not create monsters. It creates the possibility of monsters, and possibility is far harder for your nervous system to switch off. This is also why children fear the dark more intensely than adults, and why that fear peaks at a very specific age. Around 2 to 6 years old, children develop enough imagination to picture dangers they cannot see, but not yet enough life experience to reliably rule those dangers out. Evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse has argued that many so-called irrational fears are not malfunctions at all. They are simply calibrated for a world that no longer exists. A toddler's fear of the dark made excellent sense for 100,000 generations of ancestors sleeping in open or lightly protected shelters. It just looks strange now, in a house with locked doors and working smoke alarms. and your body still runs the old software. When the lights go off, your amygdala, the almond-shaped structure deep in your brain responsible for threat detection, becomes noticing.